Good evening, boys and girls. Let us start. Today we shall discuss about problems of human settlements in developing countries. The last lesson topic of chapter 10, human settlements of your NCERT geography textbook, fundamentals of human geography. So now I will present my screen. So this is the lesson topic, problems of human settlements in developing countries. So these problems of human settlements in developing countries can be discussed under two categories. So the first one, problems of rural settlements. Then the second one, problems of urban settlements. So about the problems of these rural settlements, we have already learned in the previous class. However, let us have a quick look at the problems of these rural settlements in the developing countries. So here is the problems. So these are the problems of rural settlements in the developing countries. So the first problem is here. Supply of rural supply water to rural settlements in developing countries is not adequate. People in mountainous areas and arid areas have to walk long distances to fetch drinking water. So this is the most important problem in the rural areas. Supply of water is not adequate. People have to walk for long distances for fetching drinking water in the mountainous and the desert areas. Then the second important problem, waterborne diseases such as cholera and jaundice tend to be a common problem. Then another one, the third one, the countries of South Asia face conditions of drought and flood very often. So here in the countries of South Asia like India, Bangladesh, and other Asian countries, we have problems of drought and flood very often, mainly due to climatic factor, and there may be flood due to this lack of proper drainage system, maybe due to lack of planning. So in these countries we face the problems of drought and flood, and crop cultivation sequence in the absence of irrigation is also suffer. So that means there is lack of irrigation facilities in these rural settlements of the developing countries of the world, and hence the crop calendar the crop calendar of the farmers is affected. Then the fourth problem is here, the general absence of toilet and garbage disposal facilities cause health related problems. Generally there is lack of these good toilet facilities, and there is no proper place, there is no appropriate place for disposal of the garbages, and this in turn causes other health related problems like pollution of the soil, then water, then air. Then another problem. Okay, the fifth point is given here. The houses made up of mud, wood, and thatch remain susceptible to damage during heavy rains and floods. Most house designs are typically deficient in proper ventilation and include animal shade, which is not hygienic. As we discussed earlier, okay, the building materials are mainly mud, wood, then grasses, and these are very much susceptible to damage when there is a heavy rainfall and a flood. Okay, and the houses also, there is lack of this proper ventilation. Say there may be only one window or there may not be window. Okay, and sometimes animal shade is also attached, okay, to the main house, which is not hygienic. Then sixth point, okay, unmetal roads and the lack of modern communication network create a unique problem. During rainy season, the settlements remain cut off and pose serious difficulties in providing emergency services. See, most of the roads in the villages, okay, in the rural areas, are unmetal. That is, fair weather roads can be used only when the weather is fine, and during the rainy season, these roads, okay, cannot be used. And when there is flood or when there is landslide or any other disaster in the rural areas, okay, since the roads are unmetalled, so it poses serious difficulties in providing the emergency services. Okay, then the last point, there is lack of these adequate health and educational infrastructure for the large rural population. That means there is lack of schools and hospitals, okay, in these rural settlements of developing countries. The problem is particularly serious where proper villagization has not taken place and houses are scattered over a large area. That means this problem is more serious in the case of scattered settlement, okay, where the houses are widely scattered. And say here, villagization means these planned rural settlements, okay, planned rural settlements. So since there is lack of planning, okay, in these rural settlement areas, there is lack of these schools, then hospitals and the other infrastructures in these rural settlements. So you have to memorize at least 5 points, okay. Next we have problems of urban settlements, okay, problems of urban settlements. And problems of urban settlements can be discussed under 3 heads: economic problems, sociocultural problems, then environmental problems. Before we start the problems of urban settlements, do you have any question regarding problems of rural settlements?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So let us continue. So let us take up these economic problems. You know, as we discussed earlier, most of these urban settlements in the developing countries, okay, are unplanned, grown haphazardly. So it was discussed earlier, okay. And since most of the towns and cities in the urban in the developing countries are unplanned, okay, so there is congestion, then shortage of housing, then there is vertical expansion haphazardly, then there is growth of slums, okay, in these towns and cities of these developing countries. Now let us see about these economic problems. So what are the problems, economic problems? See, the enormous migrant population generates a pool of unskilled and semi-skilled labor force which is already saturated in urban areas. See why actually the main cause for growing of population in the urban area is migration, that we have learned earlier, that people are migrated from the rural areas to the urban areas for employment, okay, for employment opportunities. But see, since most of these migrants are unskilled and semi-skilled labor force, okay, unfortunately they may not be able to get the jobs also, because these unskilled and semi-skilled labor force, okay, are already saturated in the urban areas. Already so many workforce, okay, so many unskilled and semi-skilled labor force are there in the urban areas, and still migration is going on from the rural areas to the urban areas. So every year, okay, there is continuous pouring of these unskilled and semi-skilled labor towards the cities and the towns. So this is a problem, okay. So it creates this congestion, okay, in these big cities. Then there is development of slums, okay, and squatter settlements. Development of slums and squatter settlements in these urban areas. So here we have a photograph of these slums, okay, in India. I think you will be seeing the condition of houses. And next we have another, okay, problem of urban settlements, that is socio-cultural problems. Here, okay, let us try to find out point wise, okay, these are the features. Insufficient financial resources, okay, fail to create adequate social infrastructure catering to the basic needs of the huge population. You know, in most of the big cities in the developing countries, okay, the population size is very big, and there is this lack of financial resources also. There is lack of financial resources in the developing countries, okay, to create adequate social infrastructure. Means for the social infrastructure here means provision of these drinking water facilities, hospitals, okay, education institution, then houses, okay, so many things. And so this is a problem, okay. So because of this lack of financial resources, the cities in the developing countries fail to create adequate social infrastructure, okay, catering to the basic needs of the huge population. Then another point, okay, is here. The available educational and health facilities remain beyond the reach of the urban poor. Actually, in the big cities, these educational and health facilities are very good. However, okay, the cost of education, okay, and this cost of this health treatment is very high. See, school fees, okay, school fees very, very high in the big cities, and that is why poor people, urban poor, okay, cannot afford, okay, their children to these educational institutions in the big cities, and these urban poor cannot treat themselves, okay, in the hospitals in the big cities, since the cost of treatment is very, very high. Somebody is coming. Emmanuel. And health indexes also present a gloomy picture. Okay, see here, say as we discussed earlier, in the developing countries, in the cities of developing countries, we have slums. Okay, we have the problems of slums and squatter settlements, and that is why health index, okay, present a gloomy picture. And so another important problem, sociocultural problem, is here. Lack of employment and education tends to aggravate the crime rates. See, more and more people will pour into these big cities, and unfortunately they will not be able to get a job, and therefore to survive themselves, in the big cities, they may commit crimes. For example, extortion of money, even leading to the killing of people. Okay, so this is a problem in the cities of developing countries. Then another important problem is given here: male selective migration to urban areas distort the sex ratio in these cities. In most of the developing countries of the world, okay, males are mainly migrated to the big cities. Okay, so in the countries of Asia, then Africa, okay, most of the migrants are these males, and that is why the sex ratio in the big cities, okay, is negative, unfavorable. There is very less number of these girls, okay, women in the big cities, leading to these more and more crimes against the women. Okay, so these are the important problems related with these urban settlements in the developing countries. Okay, the main socio-cultural problems. And next we have environmental problems. Okay, what are the important environmental problems in the cities of developing countries? Here, the large urban population in developing countries not only uses but also disposes of a huge quantity of water and all types of waste materials. Okay, the large urban population in developing countries use a lot of water, okay, for drinking, then for bathing, and for other different domestic purposes. At the same time, these huge population, okay, are disposing these wastewater, different types of wastewater, say from the toilet, from the bathrooms, okay, from everywhere. They are disposing gray water, wastewater, and this is a problem. Okay, and another point is here, many cities of developing countries even find it extremely difficult to provide the minimum required quantity of potable water and water for domestic and industrial uses. That means most of the cities in developing countries are not able to provide enough, okay, potable water, drinkable water to the urban dwellers, and water for domestic and industrial uses. Not only the potable water, okay, these cities are not able to provide the water, okay, enough water for the domestic uses as well as for industrial uses. That means there is shortage of this water supply, okay, in the cities of these developing countries. Then another point, another problem is given here: an improper sewerage system creates unhealthy conditions. Improper drainage system, improper sewerage system. So bad smells may be coming out from the drains, okay, causing these obnoxious smells. Then sometimes diseases may be spreading from these drains, okay, stagnant water stagnant water, dirty water is there in the drain, and so it causes a problem. It causes a serious health problem. And another problem is given here. A massive use of traditional fuel in the domestic as well as industrial sector severely pollutes the air. Air pollution is there. In addition to this soil pollution, water pollution, then air pollution also there, because of this use of conventional sources of energy in the households as well as in the industries. Say in the domestic households, the urban poor are using coal for cooking, for example. Likewise, in the industries also, say industries are using coal for heating, maybe for smelting the metals, and that causes air pollution. In the industries, not only the coal, they are also using these petroleum, diesels and others. The machines are sometimes run by these petroleum and petroleum products. All these are example of conventional sources of energy causing pollution of the air. So this is another problem. Then the next one is the domestic and industrial washes are either laid into the general sewerage or dumped without treatment at the unspecified locations. The wash water, the grey water from the domestic households are laid into the general sewerage system without treatment. Likewise, the industrial wash, maybe solid wash or liquid wash, are also dumped without treatment at the unspecified locations, which is not specified by the government. They may dump anywhere, thus causing health hazards. Sometimes the industries may dump their waste material in the river. If river is flowing there, then they may dump anywhere, in unspecified locations. Then another problem C is the problem of heat islands. Huge concrete structures erected to accommodate the population and economic play a very conducive role to create heat islands. So this is another problem. So what are heat islands? Do you have idea about heat islands? What are heat islands? I will tell you. So heat island is an urban area. Heat island is an urban area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activities. Let me repeat. Heat island is an urban area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activities. And here the temperature difference is usually larger at the night time than the daytime. And so this generally we find less vegetation in the urban areas. There are less trees and grasses in the urban areas, less vegetation cover is there. Then the houses are also closely built and made of these concrete materials, and these concrete materials concrete buildings absorb heat heat from the sunlight and again radiated back into the air, into the atmosphere. See, not only in the daytime but also in the nighttime. Even in the nighttime also, the heat that was absorbed during the daytime is radiated back into the air, into the atmosphere, and thus warming the air even in the nighttime also. And this is what we call heat island. And this is another important problem, environmental problem of big cities in the developing countries of the world. Any question regarding these problems of urban settlements? Any question regarding problems of urban settlements? Are you clear? Okay, so let us proceed. So here in the boxes some important topics are mentioned. These are very important, asked in the board exams also. First, let us discuss here this one. What is a healthy city? What is a healthy city? And what are important features of a healthy city? Okay, so here definition is not mentioned, so I have produced in this way. So this is the definition given by World Health Organization, WHO, in the year 1998. So let us read. A healthy city. A healthy city is one that is continually creating and improving those physical and social environments and expanding those community resources which enable people to mutually support each other in performing all the functions of life and developing to their maximum potential. So it has been taken out from the this health promotion glossary, WHO. A healthy city is one that is continuously creating and improving. Any city that is continuously creating and improving those physical and social environment and expanding those community resources which enable people to mutually support each other in performing all the functions of life and developing to their maximum potential. So a healthy city, actually this sometimes or most of the time free from this pollution. All the important basic needs are available. Now let us see the important features of healthy city. Here, what are the important features of healthy city? World Health Organization suggests that among the other things a healthy city must have. What are the requirements of healthy city or the features of healthy city? A healthy city must have a clean and a safe environment that is pollution free. Clean and a safe environment. Any type of pollution must not be there. Then a healthy city meets the basic needs of all its inhabitants. A healthy city must be able to provide all the basic needs of its population, of its inhabitants. All the basic needs is, for example, drinking water, housing facility, educational facility, then hospitals. All the basic needs must be able to provide. Then a healthy city involves the community in local government. That means community participation is there. In a healthy city. And the last feature, a healthy city provide easily accessible health services. Means enough and good hospitals are there in a healthy city. Provide easily accessible health services. Everybody can afford their treatment. So these are the important features of healthy city. Then another important topic is here. This is also very important. Urban strategy. So here strategy means an elaborate and systematic plan of action. Strategy means an elaborate and a systematic plan of action. Now let us see what are the important features of urban strategy. The United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) has outlined these priorities as a part of its urban strategy. The following are the priorities as a part of the urban strategy. So here the first feature, priority, increasing shelter for urban poor. Okay, increasing shelter here means houses for the urban poor, to increase the number of houses for the urban poor. Then another feature of urban strategy, provision of basic urban services such as education, primary health care, clean water and sanitation. Okay, provision of basic urban services such as education, primary health care, clean water and sanitation, toilets. Then another strategy, okay, feature, improving women's access to basic services and government facilities. Improving women's access. So in most of the developing countries, okay, sometimes women are not able to access to the basic services. Women are not able to access to education and other government facilities. Okay, so improving women's access to basic services and government facilities. This is another strategy. Then upgrading energy use and alternative transport system. Upgrading energy use, say we can see from the use of conventional energy resources to the non-conventional one. Instead of using coal, petroleum, okay, we may shift to the use of this non-conventional like wind energy, solar energy, okay, biogas, like that. Okay, and alternative transport system to decongest the streets, okay, the traffic in the big cities. Then the last strategy is reducing air pollution. Okay, this is the last strategy, reducing air pollution in the cities of these mainly in the developing countries. So these are the important strategies or the features of urban strategy, okay, given by this UNDP, United Nations Development Program. So we have discussed about these problems of rural settlements, then problems of urban settlements in the developing countries. Then can you tell me, so what are the main reasons, okay, what are the main reasons for causing such a problem or problems in the urban areas? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what can be the reasons, okay, what can be the reasons for causing these problems in the urban areas in the developing countries of the world? Any idea? Do you have any idea? Okay, let me tell you, it is here, see. Here, okay, see, this area is the growth of rural population has outspaced the generation of employment and economic opportunities. Rural to urban migration has steadily increased, particularly in developing countries, and which has put an enormous pressure on urban infrastructure and the services that are already under serious stress. Okay, these points we have already discussed. Okay, we have discussed about this rural urban this migration, and this rural to urban migration has been increasing day by day. As because of that, we are facing so many problems in the big cities of the developing countries. See here, the growth of rural population has outpaced the generation of employment and economic opportunities, even in the villages also. Okay, even in the villages also, employment cannot be generated. The size of the land is fixed, and there has been rapid increase in the population, and therefore unemployment problem is also found in the rural areas. Okay, all the people in the villages cannot be employed in the agricultural sector, since the land is limited, and that is why this rural to urban migration has steadily increased, particularly in developing countries. And because of this, there is increase in the pressure on the urban infrastructure. There is increase in the pressure of the urban infrastructure, pressure in the housing, okay, then in the this supply of drinking water, then education, and so many pressure on different infrastructures are there in the urban areas. Okay, and we have already this under serious stress. We have already there. All these problems are already there. Still, more and more people are migrating to the big cities, causing more and more problems. Then, what can be the suggestion, for eradicating such a problem in the cities in the developing countries? So here is the suggestion. It is urgent to eradicate rural poverty. If we eradicate rural poverty, if we provide employment to the villagers, then the problem of rural to urban migration will be decreased. Okay, and to improve the quality of living conditions of the villagers, as well as to create employment and educational opportunities in the rural settlements. Okay, that means first point we have to do is that we have to eradicate poverty in the villages. We have to improve the quality of living, the standard of living conditions say among the villagers. Then we must create employment opportunities in the rural areas. Then we must provide educational institutions in the villages, and only after that the problems in the urban areas will be solved. Okay, that is the point mentioned here. Any question from your side? Okay, then up to here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class. Please leave your name in the WhatsApp group for attendance. Thank you very much.